Okay, so check it out. Sorry that the earlier's video got cut off. I accidentally hit the stop button on the recorder right in the middle of this morning's fasted cardio session, and I apologize for that. But update on the rest of the day. So just went to the gym. Actually, just left the gym about 45 minutes ago. I'm back to work tomorrow morning, so I kind of had to train wisely. So I did something a little different than normal. Generally I'll isolate back by itself, chest by itself. I always do biceps and triceps together. I train arms as a whole. Generally I'll do 2 secondaries together. I don't have any problem with that, or 1 primary. So I try to kind of keep it like that. Pick 1 major, two minors, and really exhaust them out. The more micro tears, the better. Obviously, the more you can break them down with the proper nutrition and the proper rest, the more they're going to grow. Guys, so remember that food is very, very, very important. A lot of people think, hey, the more I work out, the more I'm going to grow. That's generally not the case. Nutrition is 80% probably, give or take a little bit, of your total fitness journey. As I said before, you can't break those muscle fibers down and not give them what they need to recover. They feed on that food. They repair during that sleep. That's highly, highly important. So if you're somebody, like I said this morning, who's training moderately to very intense, nutrition is a very, very big part. So, don't be afraid to invest some time in yourself. You know what I mean? Put you first sometimes. Make sure you have what you need. Your whey proteins, plenty of fish cuts, chicken, turkey, lean meats, stuff like that, and eat frequently. Generally, I try to eat every 2 hours on the hour, when time permits, when life permits. Sometimes, though, it may be every 3. I try not to ever go more than every 3 hours. As you'll see with most pro bodybuilders, they usually try to never break the 3-hour mark. Always keep some fuel in the tank, as they say. So anyways, went to the gym and did some stuff that was a little different. As I said, kind of pressed for time. I'm back to work in the morning, so I'm working 12-hour shifts right now, 7 to 7, 4 days on, 4 off. So I have to kind of schedule wisely. And moving into my new apartment was time consuming. So got all that taken care of. But anyways, so I went in the gym, started out. I thought I was going to train shoulders first. So got to the dumbbell rack, grabbed a couple 25s, started doing some side lateral raises, just dumping the blood into the shoulder caps. Got 2 sets of that under my belt and realized, hey, not really feeling shoulders right now, for some reason. So I said, well, I'll go ahead and bust chest down, So I went over and I hit the hammer strength machines. Did a variety of different hammer strength machines, ones that are designed for the chest, incline, decline, standard. Moved into some dumbbell flies, lying dumbbell flies, 3 working sets of those. Moved to cable flies, standing cable flies. I think I did 4 working sets of those, pyramiding my weight up with each set. Dips, regular dips, body weighted dips. Please do not ever forget. Let me tell you guys something. So even when it comes to bodybuilding, right, you have these state-of-the-art gyms. You've got a plethora of free weights, the Smith machine, all this different stuff, right? 2 things that you do not want to cut out of your workouts, right? That's your standard pull-ups, right? And you may do different grips, inverted, close grip, super wide, whatever it may be. Keep your pull-ups in your back routine. And when it comes to chest, make sure you're incorporating dips. Nothing really works those lower pec muscles like a dip. You know what I mean? It's just one of those bread and butter movements that's really hard to beat. Maybe you want to use it as a finisher. Sometimes I do that. Well, generally I do that. But sometimes I will, just to switch things up and keep them fresh, start with my dips. So I incorporated dips today also, 4 working sets of those to failure. Really deep, good contraction, stretching the pecs out really good, explosive positives. After that, I went ahead and moved into shoulders, because I felt like the shoulders were warmed up because of the chest work. And as I said, kind of pressed for time, so I figured why not get them, on out the way? They're already activated slightly anyway, so go ahead and knock them out. Went back over to the dumbbell rack. I grabbed a set of 20s, a set of 15s, and a set of 10s, right? And, this is something I want to touch on. So a lot of guys, when they go to the gym, it comes down to this ego lifting thing. And they want to, they want to go in and people are looking, they're watching, and they're like, hey, I'm going to go over here and put 315 on the bench or whatever muscle group they're doing that day. You know what I mean? It's all about the number. But what they fail to realize is, if you're bodybuilding, if you're training for aesthetics, for looks, for definition, symmetry, proportion, really rounded muscle bellies, right? Weight is not going to be a factor. It is to a certain extent. You want to go heavy enough to make sure you're activating those fibers, but you don't want to go so heavy that your form is shit, and I see that so often, guys want to go in there and ego lift, putting these ridiculous weights on these bars, and trying to just hammer it out. And they're getting 2, 3, maybe 4 good clean reps, if that. And then, it's straight to spot mode and all this fucking, squeezing and pushing and pulling. And they're using the front delts and all this. And it doesn't even, it's no longer even a chest movement. Bodybuilding is all about activation. Form over weight always, do your research, you know what I'm saying? You can take 2 guys, same body type, same genetics, same physics, same everything. Put them in the gym, right? Have one guy do these crazy heavy numbers on the same exact movements as the other guy. Let their movements mirror each other, right? One on the bench, one on the bench, one on the incline, one on the incline, vice versa, whatever. And watch after 90 days. Do a comparison. So you have subject A, who's been doing these really heavy weights, right? Sacrificing form. And then you have subject B, who's been going and using a moderate weight, a realistic weight, but, keeping those muscles under tension, right? Focusing on form, activation, dumping the blood into the area they're targeting. In 90 days, subject B, the guy who was training with the moderate weight, the less heavy weight, will dwarf the other guy. When I say dwarf, to the naked eye, when you look at them, there'll be no comparison. The guy doing the lighter weight and focusing on those muscle groups and isolating them, his condition will just totally outdo the other guy. And that's the way it works. So guys, always remember, weight is not a factor. You know what I'm saying? Look at pro bodybuilders. You got guys, Phil Heath, 265, 270, and then you have your Dorian Yates and your Jay Cutlers in their primes, pushing the 300 mark. And if you watch their videos when they're training, they're using 50, 60, sometimes 70-pound dumbbells on these movements. That is very, very light for a guy that's that big and strong. But it's because, A, they don't want to risk injury, and B, they know how to train smart. They know what they're doing. They don't care about going in and getting on the bench and saying, oh, hey, look at me. Watch me pump this up and down. I'm so cool. Well, that's cool. For people to look at you and go, oh, wow, dude, just bench 315 for 10 reps or whatever, But in the long run, other than the recognition from that, what did you get from it? You personally. What gain did you get? You know what I'm saying? So really, in the long run, lifting those heavy weights like that, you're going to sacrifice your own benefit for the opinions of others. Do not make that mistake, right? Because it's about you. Bodybuilding is about you, your goals, your passion, right? Bettering you, yourself. So don't be afraid to take some you time. You know what I mean? I'm just going to say to all you guys out there, so this is a really unique time in my life, right? Obviously, you guys know, those of you that do know me, if you don't, I've been bodybuilding for 15 years on and off, right? And I say on and off because my off times have been during the times that I fell victim to drug use. Methamphetamine, it's been a real monster in my life, and it's been in and out bad. And as far as bodybuilding is concerned, it's cost me a lot. It's repetitively caused me to push my passion to the side. Like John said, for something so small, for something you can fit in your hand or inside of a bill of a hat, right? Something so small, I sacrificed so much for it. But, so like I said this morning, a lot of my goal with these videos is to really encourage people out there, because here's one thing for sure, I've been like a Class A life fuck up many times in my life, including this trip here, this trip to prison. But I was blessed enough to go to the reentry program, you know what I'm saying? These guys really helped me out. Shout out to John, and Miss BJ, and all the staff at Hidden Creek. It's a great facility, you guys, and they really helped me out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to give a little recognition to that. So my goal here is to really inspire some people if I can. You can do anything you put your mind to. And let me tell you something I struggle with. So I'm one of those guys that when it comes to bodybuilding, like back in the day, it used to be like, if everything's not working out and everything's not on point, and if I miss a meal, like, it's the end of the world. Like, you know what I mean? I might as well just throw the towel in, and it's really cool because now, I'm living life on life's terms, and when I say that, it's like, I understand, okay, hey, I'm back bodybuilding, I'm back doing what I have a passion for. But at the same time, I'm keeping it fresh in the back of my mind that at any time life can throw me a crazy wrench, and I'm prepared for that. Because before, where I would have just thrown the towel in and said, fuck it all, I'm prepared to overstep that, right? Overstep that obstacle, cross that boundary, handle it appropriately to the best of my ability, and move forward. You know what I'm saying? So I'm fully prepared for that. So you guys need to also remember that there are going to be struggles. There's going to be obstacles, things that are going to pop up in your life, and you just have to persevere through those, man. Giving up is just going to make things so much worse, right? So I just want to kind of touch base on that, man. So back to the resurrection series, right? So as I said, I went to the gym. I trained chest, and I moved into shoulders. So after, I took a set of 20s, 15s, and 10-pound dumbbells, and I did what's called a monster set. So I did side lateral raises first. I exhausted on the 20s, then the 15s, then the 10s every time. 1, 2, 3, 45-second to 60-second, to 1 minute break, and then did it again. 4 working sets of that. Then I moved to forward lateral raises for the front delts, right? 4 working sets, same thing, pyramiding the weight. After that, I moved into Arnold press to the front, standing. I used the solid bars, the solid barbells, so that there was no movement on the bar. I hate that. I hate using a loaded bar with loose plates on certain movements, and that's one that I really hate. So that was a blessing to have that at my disposal. What did I do after that? Then I hit a little traps. So I did some standing upright rows. Same thing with the barbells. I did 4 working sets, pyramiding the weight up to really focus on the traps. It's just kind of draping them in the front. It's kind of hard to explain with this phone, but you want to drape them. So when you're hitting your traps, you want to kind of drape them in the front. Let it get that good tug, roll them, and then come up. After that, I moved into shrugs. I did a machine shrug. 4 working sets of that, and let's see, what else did I do? And that was about it. Oh no! When I was leaving the gym, I noticed that they had a standing bench, a standing machine bench, and I did 4 working sets of that. I was gonna hit the pec deck, but there was a really big line for it, and I hate interrupting someone who's on the machine because I hate when that shit happens to me. So I left that alone. I feel like I had plenty of activation, and I'm a guy who will overtrain, so I have to kind of monitor myself, right, and be realistic because I will overtrain. Generally, conventional science says 45 minutes on a muscle group if you're doing it right and you're not hee-hawing around is plenty enough to stimulate all the growth that you need. Maybe initially, yes, in the newbie phase, if you will, but once you become seasoned and you've been doing this a while, you're going to have to bump the volume up some. Your most successful pro bodybuilders, your Jay Cutlers, your Phil Heath, your Dorian Yates, your Ronnie Coleman's, even back to Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what I'm saying? High volume. Once you become seasoned, you're going to have to step it up. The muscles are going to grow. They're going to adjust. They're going to really get used to that. So you're going to have to bump up your volume to really bust them down. But, there's a point where you are overtraining. Everything has a balance. So I have to really monitor myself on that. So after that, I felt like, today I got plenty of blood in there. I told myself in my head, okay, let's not overdo it. You know what I mean? Been here an hour and 30 minutes. That's plenty. Let's get some nutrients in us. So I went to the vending machine, and I didn't bring any protein with me, but obviously you guys have heard me touch base on this 1,000 times. Nutrients are very, very important. That's where your gains are going to come from. That's where you're going to grow. It's that food and that sleep. So due to the fact that I didn't bring any whey with me, I went to the vending machines that they have there, and I was going to buy a couple of the protein shakes that they have in there. I think they were like Lean Body, 40 grams. 40 grams for me post-workout is not enough. You know what I mean? Post-workout, go with 60 for your base. But realistically speaking, I mean, if you're really bumping and grinding in there, 75, 80 plus is kind of what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Guys say, oh, well, don't drink too much because the body will just process it out. Okay. Well, when you're building a house, would you rather have not enough materials to get the frame up and running, right, so you can finish this house? Or would you rather have more than enough materials to build this house than you need, right? To look at the house once it's up and say, hey, we may have some extra stuff over here, but the house is built. We're good to go. So that's where I'm at when it comes to nutrition. You know what I'm saying? I'm not beyond drinking a 90 or 100 gram shake if I feel like I really got that money, because my body's going to utilize every last gram of protein that is available to it. And then, if it processes the rest out and it doesn't get utilized, okay, cool. I had more than enough materials than I needed to build my house for that day. So, very big thing. So once you get those out of the machine, I was going to buy 2 of them to put me at 80 grams, right? And they have this fancy schmancy card setup bullshit going on that made it like super fucking difficult. So I'm like, man, I'm not going to mess with this thing. I got to get these nutrients in here. I don't want to miss my anabolic window, right? Which is generally 45 minutes after you get done training, guys. Stay within that. Within 45 minutes of the finish of your training session, get those nutrients in there. Don't stand around hee-hawing, talking on the phone, Facebook, and that shit will still be there when you get done. Go take care of that body. Go feed those muscles. Get that protein in there with some fast sugars. Yes, sugar is your friend post-workout, right? I'm not beyond or above using table sugar, regular sugar. I've done it. There's a variety of ways you can go with it. A little bit of Gatorade, a little bit of orange juice, whatever. But combine some fast sugars with those proteins. That fast sugar is going to spike your insulin, and it's going to get you anabolic. Insulin is the most anabolic hormone in your body. Research it. It's very, very beneficial for that. Familiarize yourselves with it. So anyways, I went ahead and left the gym, and I went to the gas station there, and I got 2 of the... I usually get the Pro Series. If I buy muscle milk, I like to buy the Pro Series because they're 40 grams, But they didn't have those. All they had was the regular, right? 25 grams, 0 sugars, which was cool. So I got 2 of those, put me at 50 grams of protein. Not quite what I was looking for, but it got some nutrients in there, right? And then I bought a Dole orange juice, a small Dole orange juice, and down that motherfucker to get those fast sugars in there. So that was my post-workout nutrition. Actually, as I'm talking to you guys right now, the time's ticking down. I usually wait about an hour and 30 minutes, and then I pull my first meal. I'm probably going to pull... Let's see, I'm gonna go in there and pull 1 can of white meat chicken breast. That comes out to about 50 grams of proteins, 3.5 servings in that. And then I'm going to combo that with some shredded mini wheats. Yeah, believe it or not, right? Shredded mini wheats. They're whole grain carbohydrates, right? Good for you. I'm a big white rice guy, but I will throw my oats and my whole grains in there from time to time when I feel it's necessary. So this meal is going to look like 50 grams from my chicken, and then I'm going to pull probably 2 to 2.5 measuring cups of the shredded mini wheats, and instead of milk in that, right? Milk's overrated. I'm going to use 1 scoop of whey protein powder for my milk, right, with a little bit of water, and it's really, really good. So that's going to bump me up another 30 grams right there between the cereal and the whey protein. So 50 and 30 is 80, right? Good number for first meal after training. That's kind of replenish the body and get it what it needs. Not to mention 1 tablespoon, 1 nice big tablespoon of peanut butter. And as I said in prior videos, the peanut butter is going to be to replenish the fats. Yes, guys, fats. Watch some of your old school bodybuilders, right, in their videos, the greats. Dorian Yates is going to be a guy you'll hear me mention a lot. Dorian Yates was a fucking genius. One of the greatest of his time, still a legend to this day, you know what I mean? Shriveled up old man, still in the gym, coaching guys, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to look the part anymore, because trust me, all of it is still right here. He was the Lion, 7 years, Mr. Olympia, 1990 to 1997. Matter of fact, when Dorian Yates did his last show, 1997, there's a really cool video you can research out there and watch on YouTube. And that man's mental status was just like out of this world. He breaks down what it took to be a great bodybuilder. the discipline, not letting the stress you're going through show on the outside, especially if you're competing. He talks about how in the 1997 Mr. Olympia, 2 weeks before that, he went for a follow-up and saw the doctor. Well, his left tricep had been bothering him, right? So the doctor checks him out. They do some scans and stuff, take some pictures, some x-rays and shit. And it turns out, doctor comes back in the room and says, Mr. Yates, I hate to tell you this, but your left tricep is barely hanging on. Yeah, your tendon is like one little shred of it is keeping that motherfucker in place. And he said at that time he had two choices. Let it just completely shut him down, mentally, emotionally, the whole 9 yards, right? 2 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia. Or option B, stay mentally strong, keep that outward confidence, let nobody know about it, nobody. And that's exactly what he did. He hit that stage, smile on his face, not nervous at all. Nobody knew, in his words, verbatim, that the lion was wounded, right? You don't want the hyenas to know that the lion's wounded. So he stepped on the Mr. Olympia stage 1997, torn tricep and all, draining fluid off of it, and won the Mr. Olympia title. So, you can do anything in this life that you put your mind to. Well, guys, this is video number 2. I will keep you guys updated on everything that I'm doing. If you guys have any questions, feel free in the comments. Hit me up. I will answer them. Anything fitness related, recovery related, whatever, just hit me up on here. I hope this video will help you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, talk to you soon.